Boy, it's been a long time since we last chatted on my extra ability, hasn't it? So, sorry about the, 1 year delay, but I decided to kind of get this off my chest that has kind of loomed over me for the better part of a year, which is the next chapter of this story, which is battling depression along with being on the autism spectrum. Hi again, everyone. In case you're new to this, I'm Rossi, for those that don't know me. A lot has changed since we last met. For one, I'm down 60 pounds from when we last spoke, so obviously I've been making strides there. I switched schools. I went from Frostburg State University. Now I'm a grad student at Chatham University, and I'm kind of the head of their sports broadcasting there. And I've also picked up a lot of side gigs around the Pittsburgh area, mainly PA, but I've done a lot of stuff in the high school and collegiate ranks. And I'd like to think that I'm in a better overall mental state since the last time we talked because, quarantine's over and we're finally seemingly at the end of this COVID road. But if you know me, you know that I'm not afraid to put myself in a vulnerable position and share my experiences, not necessarily to put myself out there, but more so to help those that may be battling similar situations. Now, I understand that a lot of people may not be able to relate to having autism, such as myself, but I know a lot of people that may have dealt with depression at one point in their life or currently battling depression as we speak. And unfortunately, autism and depression kind of go hand in hand with one another. So last time we met, I said that in college, I developed a severe case of depression. This was not necessarily new to me. If you go back into the playlist that I attached this video to and you look at the middle school video, a lot of those issues were stemmed from what I thought was depression. Not only was I not understanding of social cues, but I was beyond frustrated and I felt very lonely. In college, I felt lonely as well, but it was a different kind of lonely. When I say that, I mean, I'm around a lot of people and a lot of people know who I am and hopefully they had a good impression of me or at least a better impression of me than what I was giving off back in middle school and high school. But it wasn't the kind of lonely in high school and middle school where I had no friends. It was more or less the lonely like, I'm alone. I know that seems self-explanatory, but you really don't know what I'm talking about unless you experience being away from home and being or feeling isolated in a different way than I'm accustomed to being isolated. The common theme throughout my life has been I've wanted to be one of the boys, be one of the guys, fit in with whatever group was there. In college, it was the sports broadcasting crew. And I've stated numerous times that I never felt like one of the guys. I always felt like I had something hanging over me. I always felt like someone deep down was trying to get me. They'll be nice to my face, but once my back is turned or their back is turned, they'll do anything that they can to put me down, to bury me and put me in the dirt. Some cases it was true. Other cases, it was more of a sneaking suspicion, but it still doesn't change the fact that I felt this way. And I still feel this way even however long it's been. In terms of the depression, it started getting really bad around Thanksgiving of my junior year of college. So we're talking November 2017. I couldn't explain why I was feeling down and out, but I lost all sorts of energy. I was never sad about going to class, but sometimes I wouldn't even get out of bed. My grades suffered, and my mental well-being was struggling. I talked about in my last video, the college one, how I had a plan in place. Freshman year, I was going to start from the bottom. Sophomore year, build up. Junior year, build up. Senior year, kind of be one of the top people within the department. And a common trait with autism, especially with me, is everything has to be a certain way. Everything has to go according to plan, or at least in some respect. If one thing gets thrown out of order, I blow up. And work wise, I thought I was doing pretty good. I mean, at the point I was the assistant general manager of the radio station. I was producing my own television show. I was main talent for all of the shows there, or except for the one that was about politics, which at the time I had no interest in doing. But I don't know what it was. It's something did not feel right. I don't know if it was because my roommate and I were on different terms. I'm not saying we're on good terms or bad terms, but we did not see eye to eye on certain things. There was one morning I'll never forget, and I think this kind of soured his opinion on me, and it was something that I couldn't really help. I woke up. It was a normal morning. It was a Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, and I got in the shower. I was fine. Everything seemed fine. And then whenever I was getting dressed, I had a panic attack. If you've had a panic attack, you know how intense it can get and how a feeling of despair that you can get from having one, especially with one that's directed towards depression. And I think the night before, something along those lines, I was in that deep state where I'd be that guy that would post on Snapchat, the world doesn't need me. I'm useless. I should kill myself. Blah blah blah. And my RA at the time, he was my RA for my junior and senior years. He checked on me at like 7:30, 8 o'clock that morning, and I was sound asleep. My roommate answered the door, and they were checking in on me, and I didn't even know what was happening. My roommate told me about what happened, and I was completely oblivious. I had no idea that they came into the room. And I think from then on, he had a very negative opinion of me because of the depression and how low that I felt. In fact, that Thanksgiving, it was a couple days after, had a night out with the family. Not even a night out, it was just family and friends over. And my parents actually don't know about this. I don't think anyone else does. But I was really down in the dumps. I was crying. I had tears rolling down my cheeks. I was in a very bad state that I had a knife to my wrist. And I don't know what I was thinking. Other than the world is better off without me. The negative side of me was thinking that I'm imperfect and I will never be enough for anyone because of my autism, because of my depression, because I'm not like anyone here at this school. I'm not like anyone that I've ever come across. Why am I so different? Why do I have to be this way? Why can't I just be like everybody else? Why does it seem like everybody wants me gone? It was lonely. It was a really, really lonely time. Fast forward to Frostburg. I took the job basically because I had nothing else happening. I didn't have any jobs lined up at home, and Frostburg I thought was a fresh start. It was 2.5 hours away from my house in northern Maryland, and I thought it'd be a great way to kickstart my career. However, the loneliness got worse. I'm not going to air any dirty laundry I had at Frostburg, but let's just say I did not see eye to eye with a lot of people there. I felt very isolated, more so than I was at Waynesburg, because I was in a brand new place. I knew no one there. Literally, I just went to work, went home, slept. And I would sleep for 13 or 14 hours a day. I wouldn't even leave my house. My roommate and I wouldn't even speak. It got so bad that whenever this is when COVID struck in March, and I remember I was doing the USCAA championship tournament down at Penn State Fayette, and driving back, I was on my way to a lacrosse game, and my boss told me that COVID is shutting everything down. We're probably done hosting games for the rest of the year. Normally in the summer, I'm depressed because I've always felt like if there's no games happening, there's no use of me being there because it's not like I have a social life. It's not like I have many friends. I just sit around, play video games. I'm basically a vegetable, and I feel like I'm no good use to society. But whenever he told me that COVID was shutting everything down, I was like, yes! I got to get out of Frostburg. I got to go home and get away. I joked that I was the only one happy that COVID shut sports down because I was miserable at Frostburg. It was probably, it was a good experience, but it was one of the worst personal experiences of my life. Do I hate everyone there? No, I don't. There's some good people at Frostburg, but being in a new place, knowing no one, and not really gelling, not really feeling like you belong, it sucks. Now, things have changed for the better. They're not 100%, but they're on the upswing. I'm currently at Chatham, which is not necessarily in my backyard, but it's in my vicinity. I live, a half hour away from there. And it's not like I can go out with my colleagues because they live on the other side of town as me, but I am at least within the area. I know what's happening. I feel like I belong. I don't know if it'll ever get to 100%, but depression is always going to linger around, I think. There's always going to be that voice in the back of your head that tells you you're this, you're that, you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm always going to feel like at some point that I'm not good enough to do what I'm doing. I'm not good enough for that group of people. I'm not good enough for that girl. I'm not good enough for this person, socially or professionally. It's just a matter of responding, I think. Just like autism will be with me for the rest of my life, depression probably will be there as well. Kind of like the yin and the yang. So thanks for watching. I don't know if I'm going to do another episode again. I just want to see how this episode does. I feel like I had to get it off my chest more so than anything. I'm certainly open to doing more episodes of my extra ability. It's just a matter of how I feel everyone is responding, if there is a response. So anyways, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.